He has a corner office now, engineering firm, his name on the door. But those hands once stuffed a college application into an envelope at 11 at night while his mother slept after a double shift. Nobody knew. Nobody was watching. Nobody was cheering. And that is exactly the point. The most powerful transformations don't happen on stages. They happen in silence, in kitchens, in stairwells, in moments nobody ever sees. This is one of those stories of, I want to tell you about a man named Marcus, not the man he is today, the boy I grew up with, the one everybody had already given up on, everybody except him. Marcus grew up on the east side of Detroit, small apartment, loud neighbors, thin walls. His mother worked the morning shift at a hospital and the evening shift at a diner. She barely had time to sit down. His father had been gone since Marcus was 8 years old, left without a conversation, without a letter, without anything. Growing up, Marcus had one dream. He wanted to be an engineer. He used to sketch machines and bridges in the margins of his notebooks, big structures, strong designs. He drew them on everything, on napkins, on paper bags, like he was trying to build his way out of a neighborhood that never expected much from anyone. In 10th grade, his school counselor called him in, sat behind a big desk, looked at his grades, and said very calmly, "Marcus, I think you need to be realistic. College might not be the right path for you. Maybe look at trade programs." He walked out of that office. He sat in the stairwell for a long time. He did not tell anyone what she said. He just sat there. Then he picked up his bag and went to class. That same year, his closest friends stopped trying. They told him to stop caring so much. "Nobody from around here ends up doing big things, Marcus. You need to relax." He smiled at them. He said nothing, but something inside him got very quiet and very decided. Junior year, he filled out a college application by himself at the kitchen table at 11 o'clock at night, while his mother slept in the next room after a double shift. He did not tell her. He did not want to build her hopes up only to watch them fall. So he mailed the envelope alone and waited. The rejection letter came on a Tuesday. I was there. We were sitting on the front steps of his building. He opened it slowly, read it without expression, then folded it back up. I waited for him to say something. He was quiet for a long time. Cars passed. Someone's radio played down the block. Finally, I said, "Marcus, I'm sorry, man." He nodded once, then he looked up and said, "I'm going to apply again." I looked at him. "They just told you no." He said, "I know, I'm going to apply again." That is the moment I need you to understand, not the success that came later. That moment, on those concrete steps, a rejection letter folded in his hand. No crowd cheering, no one filming, no reason in the world to keep going except one. He still believed. He enrolled at the community college that fall, took the bus at 6 in the morning, studied in the library until it closed at night. He worked 20 hours a week at a grocery store to pay for things financial aid did not cover. He reapplied to the university. I remember the day that second letter came. He called me. I picked up. He did not say anything at first. I just heard him breathing. Then he said one word. In. That is all he said. One word. But I heard 4 years of quiet mornings in it. 4 years of a boy no one bet on betting everything on himself. I am not going to tell you it got easy from there. It did not. There were nights he called me drained, exhausted in ways that do not show on the outside. One night he said, "I keep thinking maybe she was right. Maybe I am not built for this." There was silence. Then he said, no, she wasn't right. He went back the next day, and the day after, and the day after that. 4 years later, Marcus walked across the stage in cap and gown, engineering degree, first in his family to graduate college. I was in the crowd. I watched his mother in the front row. She had worn the same coat for 6 years. She had not taken a real day off in longer than I could remember. She had worked 2 jobs and raised a son alone in a city that does not make that easy. When they called his name, she put both hands over her mouth. She did not cry loudly. She just sat very still, with her eyes closed, and her hands pressed against her face. That image never left me. It still hasn't. I have thought about Marcus a lot since then, not because of his degree, not because of his career, but because of who he was on those front steps, in that stairwell, in that community college library at 10 o'clock at night. The school counselor doubted him. The system was not built for him. The people closest to him told him to expect less, and he looked at all of it and decided quietly, I do not care. I believe in me. Here's what I want you to hear. The world is going to have opinions about you, loud ones, official ones, from people behind big desks and people you grew up with, and sometimes even people who love you. They will size you up. They will count your limits. They will hand you a version of yourself that is smaller than the real thing. You do not have to take it, because the one belief that no one can remove from you is the one you hold for yourself. And when you carry that belief through every door that closes in your face, through every voice that says you are too much or not enough, through every moment when quitting would be the easier thing. If this story inspired you, take a moment to like the video, share it with someone who needs to believe in themselves again, and subscribe for more powerful stories that help you overcome doubt, build confidence, and create the future you deserve.